It's time to look ahead at what will be making news in Canadian politics this week. And today in the House of Commons, there will be a vote on the Conservatives' anti-racism motion. For more on this and other stories, we are joined by the Globe and Mail's Laura Stone. Hi, Laura.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
So is this motion likely to pass?
This motion is not likely to pass, and that's because the Liberals have already come out and said they're not going to support it. Now, if you'll remember, this was quite controversial last week. The Liberals introduced their motion M103, which is an anti-Islamophobia, anti-racism motion. And this would have, if this passes in the House of Commons, it would get sent to committee, and MPs would be studying this and coming up with ways to fight racism. The Conservatives then introduced their own version, and they said not one religion should be specified, that it should apply to all religions: Muslims, Jews, Christians, Sikhs, Hindus. So they have their own motion today, but the Liberals called that watered down. They called that cynical, and they said the Conservatives are trying to avoid voting for this anti-Islamophobia motion. Conservatives say they're concerned about freedom of speech, that they wouldn't be able to criticize Islam. And so they have their own motion today, but the fact that the Liberal government has already come out against it, even before it was introduced in the House of Commons, means it isn't likely to pass, but it will be interesting to see if any Liberals do support it today.
All right. Illegal border crossings is something that we've been watching closely on this program. We'll be doing an interview a little bit later in the next hour. Is this expected to come up in question period today?
I think that it will, and that's because on the weekend we saw two Conservative MPs already call on the government to do something about these illegal border crossings. We've all seen the pictures of the families crossing the border, mostly in Manitoba and Quebec, fleeing the United States, fear over President Trump's immigration order. And we know that the U.S. is planning to do another one, some sort of other executive order, because the previous one is caught up in the courts. And so lots of concerns, at least on the Conservative side, about what the government's planning on doing on this. So far, the Liberals are really downplaying it, and we haven't heard much about if they're planning on changing anything. They've just said they're keeping their number of refugee claimants steady at 40,000. So we'll see. I mean, the NDP has also called on the government to suspend the third-party agreement with the United States, and that would make it so that these people could actually make legitimate refugee claims at the border. But right now, the U.S. is considered safe, and so these people are crossing the border illegally into Canada to flee from the United States. This is sure to come up today.
All right. Also following into that narrative is a new poll suggesting that not all Canadians feel that we're taking in the right number of refugees.
That's right. We had a poll. It was about 47% of Canadians believed that Canada is accepting the correct number of refugees, but about 41%, so about even, said that we're not, that we may be accepting too many. And so this could play into that, with people seeing these refugees fleeing the border of the United States, crossing over into Canada, not registering properly at the border. So, this could test the patience of Canadians. And so I think we will see the Conservatives putting pressure on the government to do something about this.
All right, although the numbers do seem to be on the government side. We took in 40,000 last year as opposed to more than 55,000, which we had in previous years. Last question. The Conservatives are gathering in Ottawa for their annual Manning Centre conference. What's on the agenda there?
Right. This is the conference that is started by Preston Manning Centre out in Alberta. It's been going since about 2005. And so this is the gathering of Conservatives in Ottawa to talk about various issues. We have Conservative MPs. We have people such as Doug Ford. We have Conservative commentators, Mark Stein. They're all gathering here, and they're having panel discussions on things such as elites. Could a Trump movement come to Canada? Radical Islam. And also, of course, there's going to be a Conservative leadership debate. We have 14 Conservative candidates running for leader, and so this will be a unique format where they're broken up into groups so they can really dig down into issues. Right now, we've seen those debates where they're all standing side by side and get 30-second sound bites. So this is supposed to drill deeper down into issues, but this is going to be all the Conservatives gathering together, talking about what matters to them, and of course, who they want to be the leader of their party when they choose the next leader on May 27th.
Lots of fun in the big tent, I'm sure. Laura Stone in Ottawa, thanks very much.